Hey there, I'm your host, Tisha Michelle, and welcome to #Certified, where you will leave enlightened, empowered, and inspired to live a life of authenticity. Let's go. I'm your host, Tisha Michelle. Thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I respect everyone's time, and I just wanted to acknowledge and let you know that I really, really do appreciate it. So thank you. Today, I just wanted to talk to you about who I am and introduce myself to you. So, I guess if you want to, start with the corporate stuff, all that good stuff. So I have a degree in applied science for paralegal law. I never worked as a paralegal, but I do have that degree. I have a lot of background in customer service and meaning call center. I just jazzed that up really nice. I have a lot of call center background and stuff. Have administration background. I worked in home care. My most recent thing was I owned a home care agency that I sold last year. So what I would do is I would send out the care providers and the nurses to the homes of the elderly and disabled that wanted to age in place instead of being in a facility. It was a very rewarding far as serving others, but it was also really stressful, in its own way too. And I decided last year that it was time for me to put that hat up and walk away from that. So when it comes to the different jobs and stuff, and I've had many, many jobs, like same field and stuff, but just many jobs. And I used to think that something was wrong with me, that I didn't have any stability and I just couldn't keep a job. And I would just allow people to get to me and I would just like walk away and stuff. And now I know it was because I felt stuck. I felt stuck in the corporate world and the working that mundane, that 9 to 5. And this is not against anyone who works in that field because everyone's journey and purpose is different. But for me, I felt like I was dying, working into going into a job that was I had to be there at a certain time and I had to do the same thing over and over and over. It was killing me. So any excuse that I would get to not work or not be there, I would be out. And I just needed something different. And now when I look back on it, it's because I'm a creator. I'm a creator. I'm not meant to be stuck into this one, job or one thing, particular, and I'm doing the same thing over and over and over every single day, you know. So that's a little bit of history as far as like my background into that area. I am a mom. I'm a proud mom of 4 children. I have 2 girls and 2 boys. So my oldest is about to be 22, and then that's my daughter, and then my son is 19, and then my next daughter is 13, about to be 14. Oh, wow. And my youngest, my baby boy, he is 8 years old. I am twice a teen mom. I was pregnant at 16 and I had my daughter at 17. I was married at the age of 21 and I was also government property at the age of 21 when I joined the Army. Yeah, I was pretty busy at a young age. So throughout from that point up until now, I've just been on this I've just been living life. I've just been existing is the best way to say it. So I've pretty much just been existing, job to job, providing for my kids, trying to be the best version of a parent, that I can be. I've had a lot of ups and downs and challenges and detours and all those good things. And I always would have this same question, and I would say, there has to be more to life than what this is. There has to be. Like you just get up and you go to work and you come home and you take care of your kids and then you get, whatever, you're living paycheck to paycheck. And it's just like, wow, there has got to be more to life than this. And what I would end up doing is I would like pull out the Bible and I would start trying to read the Bible and I feel good and I look up like maybe some scriptures or I start praying and I would always feel good, but then life would happen and then I'd stray away from that and then I'd go through another few years of whatever, and then I would come back to it again. I'd be like, God, there got to be more to life than this. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. This is sad. And I start praying again, and I feel good, right? I would feel good, and things would be feel okay, and then life would happen, and this became this cycle. It was over and over and over. It was the same old thing. And I was like, what the heck? In 2008, 2009, I was working for this company, and I loved it. I didn't make a lot of money, but I made enough money to, at the time, I only had, I didn't have four kids at the time. I had, let me make sure, I had three at the time, and I made enough money that I was able to pay my bills, but that was it. But I loved who I worked with. There was only two of us in there, and I loved what I did. And I kept saying, I'm never going to leave this job. I'm going to stay here forever, forever, not going anywhere. I don't care that I don't make a lot of money. I'm happy. This is great. And then I walked in one day, and they said, "Oh, we have to have a meeting with me and the other girl that worked there, because the other person was the manager." And pretty much we were laid off. They were closing the Richmond office, and they gave us like a 2 week severance, and I was devastated. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I said I was never gonna leave here. This is awful. Oh my God. And from that point is where my entrepreneurship was really fully born, because what I said was I never want to be put in this position ever again, where I am one job away from homeless. You hear me? One job away from homeless. And I went and got licensed to sell insurance. And it wasn't something I wanted to do forever, nothing of that sort. But I was like, boom, if I get put in a situation like this again or whatever, I can go out and I can sell a couple of policies, and I can make some money. I'd be able to feed the kids. I'd be able to keep my lights on, and all that. And from then, that was where the freedom came. And then I dabbled in some direct sales, um, like network marketing, and I did really well in like all of the companies, but I just got bored easily like with it. So I'd make some money and I get some ranks and I get a lot of perks, and then I just would just be over it. I still was not satisfied, you know, and so of course I got another job, and I was working in home care before I was led to start my own agency. So I will fast forward through all of that. To December 29th, 2017, one of the worst and best days of my life at the same time. And I know that sounds crazy. Well, my best friend Gloria, who was my best friend of over 22 years, who was also the aunt of my three of my children and godmother of one, and like my ride or die, and like confidant, and just everything possible, went to sleep, and she did not wake up. And yes, you heard that right. She went to sleep and she did not wake up. And my whole world at that moment felt like it was turned upside down. I didn't understand it. It made no sense. I questioned everything. I questioned everybody. I questioned God. Like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, what? Why all these, horrible people out here committing all these crimes and taking people's lives and stuff, and they get to continue breathing, and my best friend is gone? That shit made no sense to me at all. And I needed answers, and I didn't. I needed answers to questions that I didn't even know what the questions were, and I was led to speak to a psychic medium, something that I strayed away from my whole life, even though I was raised around it, because like my grandmother, my mother, like they see spirits and and all that stuff. But I didn't want nothing to do with any of that crazy shit. That's how I was. I was like, I don't want anything to do with it. Don't talk to me about any of that. But my Gloria's sister, she has spoke to a psychic medium, and I trust her, a lot, and respect her. And when she was telling me the things that this person was saying that she couldn't have possibly known, I was willing to travel to the unknown. And I was like, give me her number. I got to hear something from my best friend. Like, so because it was so much pain and so much loss and so much confusion, that I didn't care. It wasn't no damn fear anymore. I was going into that unknown, and I was like, what's up? What you got to say? And that conversation that I had with her changed my whole life. The things that she said to me was like she read my book, the book that I hadn't written yet. And there was no possible way that, and on top of that, we were on FaceTime. You couldn't know, with me being such a private person, there was no way that you could know the things that you said, unless there is another realm. There is something else that's out here. And I say this now all the time through the loss and the pain of losing Gloria. Like, I remembered my purpose. I remembered who I am and why I am here. And that is the greatest gift that anyone could have ever given to me. And it came from losing my best friend. And my number one gift is my ability to connect to others. So throughout my whole life, people have always come to me and needed like advice or just needed me to make them feel better. And I've always brushed it off as like, I mean, it's no big deal that I was able to say that and make you feel like that. I mean, it's no big, I don't know, I'm not doing anything special. Or like strangers I would meet and they would just instantly tell me like their whole life story. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. And I would even say stuff like, God, they're weird. And I would say that, gosh, they're weird because of the simple fact that I was so private. So I didn't understand that. But I didn't know what all of that meant until, now. Like, that's my gift. I have many purposes. And one of my purposes is to connect people to their true authentic self. But that first had to start with me connecting to my authentic self. Who am I? Ridding myself from all these limiting beliefs that were instilled into me from a child and just even up into adulthood, kicking fear in the butt, just speaking my truth, learning to forgive myself and forgive others, and knowing that I am the co creator of my life, that I have to stop playing the victim and I have to look at my life is where it is because of my choices, because I ultimately have the choice, you know? And in this, almost 2 years, my life, that day I felt that my life was turned upside down. And now I know that my life was actually turned right side up. It was turned right side up. Like, I am here to be of service to everyone. Every day when I set my intentions for the day, I ask, and you can call it what you want, God, spirit, universe. I say, please put the people in my life that I am here to enlighten, inspire, and impact. Place them in my path because that's what I am here to do. This is what I love. This is what makes me happy. I create safe spaces for people to be their authentic self. You know, I like to say it's a little structure with no control. What do you want to talk about? What's on your heart? And I say everyone wants to be heard. So I'm like, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? We can talk about everything. And I believe that experience is our greatest teacher. So I'm always gonna come from the heart and talk to you about the experiences that I've had and what I've learned from them and what I'm still learning and how I can guide you through your process. It's your journey, but along this journey, we all need a little assistance. We all need some form of assistance. And going back to 2008, it was 2009 when I was laid off from that job. At that time, I was devastated. But now, when I look back at it, I know that that was a blessing in disguise, right? Because what I said and I put out to the universe, I was like, yo, I'm never leaving this job. I'm going to stay here forever. This is great. This is amazing. And the universe was like, oh, no, let me shake this up real quick because she being over here being ridiculous. And I had a bigger purpose, and it wasn't to just stay in that comfort zone in that job. So the universe shook me up. And we're going to go through those different things. We're going to have a lot of these challenges and these shakeups, but it's just because you're on a detour and it's just to get you back on a better path. So that truly was a blessing in disguise, for me, because that led me into the entrepreneurship. So when I was leaving all these different jobs and feeling stuck in those jobs and feeling miserable and sometimes feeling like I was dying inside doing the same thing over and over, it was because my soul was like, yo, Tisha, we need freedom, freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. You're a creator. You are not meant to be stuck into one thing. And, I at some point I was kind of feeling like depressed because I was just like, gosh, I just can't, I'm not stable. I'm not staying in here. I was still maintaining and able to take care of like my kids and stuff through, I've had a lot of hard times and stuff, but, society makes you feel like, um, well, you're lazy, you're not stable, you don't have your priorities straight, but really and truly, so that can cause like depression and make you feel some type of way about yourself. But now I know, like, I was on a detour, and I was on a detour for many, many years, and now I am in alignment with my purpose, and it's beautiful, it's magical, and it's still challenging and scary, and I will keep it 100 with you. It is challenging and it's scary, but I know that the universe has my back and it's always going to bring me my highest good. And I just have to just continue serving others, you know. So, to wrap this up, that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about your host. You know, I would love to continue the conversation with you guys and also get to know you. If you are on Instagram, you can follow me at it is Tisha. So ITISTISHA. I'm also on Facebook for people who are still on Facebook. You can search me on Facebook and it's under Letitia Green. I do have a private Facebook group as well. And if you just go up to like the search bar and just put in hashtag certified, you should see that it would pop up. So I would love to get to know you guys and I would love for you guys to get to know me a little more as well. If you are someone that is looking for a little bit of guidance and a little, empowerment and inspiring words or you just looking for someone to just have a conversation with. You don't really even know where to begin, but you just want that space created that's safe and we can just talk and have a conversation and just allow the universe to guide it. Then you can book a session with me. You can go to my website, which is www.conversationswithtisha.com. As always, I hope you all have a great day, night, week, month, all of that good stuff on purpose. Set the intentions for what it is that you want and the type of day and the life that you want to have. Love you. Until next time. Thanks for tuning in to Hashtag Certified. If anything resonated with you, I would love to continue the conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at itistisha. And if you want to be a part of the Hashtag Certified tribe, you can join my Facebook group by going to the search tab and putting in Hashtag Certified. My website is conversationswithtisha.com. As always, have a great one on purpose. Love you.